All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we are talking all about sleep, and I want you to completely forget the idea that sleep is just downtime. We're going to show you why getting enough sleep is probably the single most powerful, most effective investment you can possibly make in your health, your mind, and your performance.
So let's just start with this question, because the science on this is shockingly clear, and it totally changes how we should be thinking about sleep. We almost wear it as a badge of honor, right? Pulling an all-nighter to get things done. But the evidence shows it's basically like putting your brain and body under some serious stress.
Okay, so let's start with the immediate damage. What actually happens to your mind and your body after missing just one single night of sleep? Well, as you're about to see, the consequences hit way faster and are much more severe than most of us realize.
I mean, just let this sink in. After being awake for a full 24 hours, your brain's performance, we're talking your concentration, your attention span, your memory, it all drops to a level that's legally the same as being impaired. You would never, ever get behind the wheel of a car in that state, so why would you try to run your life on a brain that's operating at that level?
And it's not just your brain, not by a long shot. The physical hit is, well, it's pretty shocking. Just one night of bad sleep can cause a massive 72% drop in the activity of your natural killer cells. And you got to think of these cells as your immune system's elite special forces. They're your absolute first line of defense against viruses and even cancerous cells.
So what you get is this perfect storm inside your own body. Your emotional control just goes out the window, making you irritable. Your hunger hormones go completely haywire, which is why you crave junk food. Meanwhile, your brain's waste clearance system basically grinds to a halt, and stress hormones like cortisol just flood your system, putting you in a constant state of fight or flight.
Now look, a single bad night is one thing. We've all been there. But what happens when that becomes the norm? When it becomes a pattern? Well, that's when you cross over into the real danger zone, where all that damage starts to build up and becomes a serious, long-term health crisis.
And this is where it gets really scary, because look how fast this spirals. At 24 hours, you're functionally impaired. Push it to 48 hours, and you're starting to risk some really serious psychological problems. And when this becomes chronic, well, we're not talking about feeling tired anymore. We are talking about a major risk factor for some of the biggest diseases out there.
And this isn't just theoretical stuff. This has very real, very dangerous consequences. If you consistently get less than 6 hours a night, your risk of having an accident jumps by 22%. And because sleep is so crucial for regulating your blood sugar, chronic sleep debt is linked to a 34% higher risk of developing type 2 diabetes.
So the bottom line here is just unavoidable, really. Chronic sleep debt isn't about being groggy. It actually lays the groundwork for so many of our most serious health conditions: heart disease, obesity, dementia, and yep, even certain types of cancer.
Okay, so we've seen the dark side, but now let's talk about the solution, because this is where the story gets really incredible. Good sleep isn't just about avoiding all those bad things. It's about unlocking so many amazing positives. Sleep is when your body does its most important, most restorative, and frankly, most brilliant work.
This is so important. We have to completely change how we think about sleep. It is not a passive shutdown where nothing happens. No, it's an active, highly organized biological process that is absolutely essential for our survival, our health, and our ability to be our best.
So while you're out cold, your brain is busy. I mean, really busy. It's running this amazing deep clean cycle, kind of like a cerebral dishwasher, flushing out all the toxic gunk that builds up when you're awake. At the same time, it's acting like a super efficient librarian, filing away important memories, shredding the useless ones, and prepping all the circuits so you're ready to learn new things the next day.
And it's not just your brain getting all the attention. Your entire body goes into this high-powered repair mode. Your muscles get mended. That immune army we talked about gets rearmed and fortified. Your metabolism gets rebalanced, and inflammation gets dialed way down. It's literally a full-body tune-up every single night.
And all of this is run by this incredible, perfectly timed hormonal orchestra. During your deepest sleep, growth hormone surges to repair your body. Melatonin, the hormone of darkness, not only helps you fall asleep, but is also a powerful antioxidant. Then, right on cue, as morning approaches, cortisol begins to rise, waking you up feeling refreshed and ready for the day. It's beautiful. Okay, so that's the why. It's amazing, right? But what about the how? How do we actually make sure we're getting all these incredible benefits? Well, the good news is it's not as complicated as you might think. Let's walk through a simple action plan. Look, let's be real. Sometimes a sleepless night just happens. Life gets in the way. And while nothing, and I mean nothing, can truly replace a full night of sleep, this little emergency kit can help you get through the day. A short 20-minute power nap can work wonders for alertness. Getting bright sun in the morning helps reset your body clock, and using caffeine strategically, not too late in the day, can give you a boost without wrecking the next night's sleep.
And this really brings us to a quote from one of the leading sleep scientists out there, Matthew Walker, that just sums it all up perfectly. He calls sleep a non-negotiable biological necessity, your life support system. It's not a luxury, it's not something you can hack. It is a fundamental pillar of life itself. And that really is the main takeaway here. It's the big secret, if you can even call it that. While those emergency tricks can help in a pinch, the real power, the life-changing magic, comes from consistency. Building a regular sleep schedule, going to bed and waking up at roughly the same time every day is probably the single most effective health habit you can possibly adopt. It's the foundation for everything else.
And that leaves us with one final question to think about. We're all looking for that edge, right? That way to be more productive, to learn faster, to be healthier. Well, when you consider that one simple activity improves your memory, strengthens your immune system, and dramatically lowers your risk for almost every major disease, you have to ask yourself, is sleep the most productive thing you can do all day? What do you think?